Hey everyone, welcome to Vegas Showbiz. My name is Michael Pellegrini, and today I've got for you a review of my first ever in-person XFL football game. It was between the Seattle Sea Dragons and the Vegas Vipers at Cashman Field in North Las Vegas on Saturday, March 4th, 2023. This was a special occasion for me because I got to go with my Uncle Bob. It was a belated birthday present for him. Bob and I were both born and raised in Seattle, then moved to Vegas in our adult years. Bob is a die-hard Seahawks fan, like the biggest Seahawks fan I know. He's even got his car covered with Seahawks stuff. He just loves them so much. So it really felt kind of fitting that we would go to a Seattle versus Vegas football game. It was our first time going to a football game together, and based on how much he loves the Seahawks, I had to go right along with him by pulling for the Sea Dragons. The action was good. I've got a lot of review to get into. We'll talk about the good, we'll talk about the not so good. I'll give you the information that prices that I paid for everything. And then I've got game footage as well. You can see not only some of the game being played, but the overall experience. Before we get into all that stuff, I have one small favor to ask. Please help me out by subscribing to the Vegas YouTube channel. We are regularly out doing fun things in Las Vegas, documenting them, making reviews like this. We'd love to have you along for the ride, so please help me out and hit that subscribe button. All right, so let's get into it. We'll start with all the good stuff. As I've already alluded to, it was a very special occasion with my Uncle Bob. We both love football. You know, normally that involves NFL and college football, but this was our first time ever visiting an XFL game. I've seen it on TV. It was a little bit of a different experience in person. I'll start by saying that the game action was very good. The pace of the game was good. I mean, these are great athletes. For example, Josh Gordon, who was a pretty well-known receiver for several years in the NFL, now plays for the Seattle Sea Dragons, and he ended up being the most valuable player of the game. He had 2 touchdowns, including the game winner in the final minute. It was so Vegas collapsed too. It was perfect. I mean, Vegas either had the lead or was tied for literally the entire game. Then it comes down to within 1 minute to go, and they blow the lead on Josh Gordon's second touchdown, which was a beauty, by the way. I mean, he made a beautiful catch, was going backwards, backpedaling, staying within the lines, had to dodge a defender and then make his way into the end zone to take the lead in the final minute. It totally took the air out of the sails for Vegas, and I could see coaches throwing their hats on the ground and stuff. And it just felt like a typical Raiders collapse where they've got this big lead and blow it in the fourth quarter. So Bob and I were happy. I mean, we got a kick out of it, but it was almost just to be expected for the rest of the Vegas fans. Beyond the gameplay itself, I would say that the energy was fun. There was this woman that was like an MC for the game who was out interacting with the crowd and dancing and having people onto the field to do like games and things like that in between quarters. It was a fun atmosphere. It was family friendly. There were plenty of kids there. Prices were very affordable. I got 2 tickets on the 20-yard line, 5th row, so nice and close, and I paid $90 for the 2 tickets, including all fees. And then parking on site there at Cashman Field was another $20, so we were looking at $110 total. We didn't end up buying any food or drinks while we were there, so I can't comment on those prices. However, I did see that there were plenty of merchandise options available, so you could get t-shirts, hats, footballs, things like that if you wanted. T-shirts were going between 20 and 25 bucks, so pretty reasonable. Overall, it was fun, you know. I mean, there wasn't like a huge crowd there, but the quality of play was good. I would call it similar to like a Division I college game. And it was just a good time. It was memorable for the two of us. We'll never forget it, especially the way that it finished up. Probably the best fourth quarter, or certainly one of the best fourth quarters I've ever seen in any football game. I mean, just so much action there for the final 15 minutes. So it was very memorable for us, and I'm glad we got to do it. On the not so good side, it really all starts with Cashman Field. The place is kind of a dump, and I feel bad to say it, but it's old, dilapidated. It's meant for baseball to begin with, so the seating options were not geared towards football at all. Just not that great of a place to go and see a game. And one example of that is if you think about the football field, it's laid out like this end to end, but the baseball seating was all the way down here, which would be the third base line, and then around here, the first base line where we were seated on the 20-yard line. For all the people on this side over here, I mean, you're behind the end zone, so like, I guess that's okay when you're, when the action is on that side of the field coming into that end zone. But when they're going down the other way, I mean, you can't really see much of anything. It's just not the greatest way to view a football game. So that was a factor. Another factor for me was that, you know, when you're watching on television, you've got the announcers and it's very easy to tell what's going on, what down is it, how far do they have left to go to get a first down, that sort of thing. That was all very difficult to figure out when watching the game in person. Part of the issue there was that there were very tiny scoreboards that were like makeshift, just put up for the game on the two ends of the field. And then way back where the outfield would be, there was a big TV screen, like a jumbo screen sort of thing, not for television, but a big screen that you could see replays of the game and everything. The score was way down below, really tiny. It was just kind of hard to see. So it really took a concerted effort on our part to tell what the score is, tell what down it is, how far they have to go for a first down. I noticed especially early in the game that sometimes the information was incorrect in terms of what down it was or how much further they had to go. So it's just a little bit difficult. And it wasn't just me and Bob. I mean, we even heard other people seated around us that were having a hard time telling what was going on. The other thing with that was that anytime there was a penalty, the referee would go to speak, and during the first half, there was literally no volume from his microphone whatsoever, so you had no idea what he was saying. They sort of fixed that for the second half, but it was very spotty audio. It was cutting in and out, so it was still very difficult to tell what he was saying, and you just kind of had to guess. So that was a little bit frustrating, but overall, just kind of hard to follow what was going on. I can't speak, obviously, for any other stadium in the XFL, and I have to assume that most are going to be better than this. But when I compare Cashman Field to the other offerings that we have for not the top level of sports in Vegas, but one level below. For example, we've got for the AAA Vegas Aviators, you can go to their home stadium, which is Summerlin Ballpark, and it's beautiful. I mean, that place is like super nice, and I love going to a game there. The same goes for if you want to go to a hockey game, you could go and see the Henderson Silver Knights. They play at a brand new arena called the Dollar Loan Center, and it's way nicer, way more modern. You compare this to Cashman Field, and frankly, there's just no comparison. So although we had a really nice time at the game, Cashman Field kind of brought it down a notch for us, and we both agreed that we would be happy to go to another Viper game if they got a better home. And we know that there are better places around Vegas that they could potentially play in, but we wouldn't be interested in going back to a game at Cashman Field. It's just not the right setup for football, and everything that I'd heard about it going into it was definitely true. Beyond that, though, I mean, you know, it's fun. Again, there's plenty of families around. I think my only other gripe with it, and this had nothing to do with anybody other than the two guys seated directly next to me, but these two guys had their weed vape pen going for literally 3 hours back and forth. I swear, the entire game, they never stopped smoking weed right next to me with their pen. And it didn't, you know, I mean, it smelled like strawberry or whatever, but it just got annoying after a while that I couldn't get away from these guys. And I'm thinking to myself, like, when is enough with you? Like, you're not going to get any higher here, guys. But they just never let it up, and it sort of impacted my experience. But not enough to leave me with too bad of a taste in my mouth. I mean, ultimately, it was a special time with my uncle. We enjoyed it. We're never going to forget it. And again, that Seattle comeback at the end was pretty epic. So if you get a chance, go look it up on YouTube. It was pretty fun. So that's basically my take on it. You know, overall, I think that the XFL is going to make it simply because, you know, I mean, there's so many content platforms out there that are trying to get content. It's a little bit of a dead zone in terms of sports seasons. I mean, baseball is in preseason but hasn't started the regular season yet. Football's over. Certainly NBA and NHL are active, but those are going to ramp up way more once the playoffs start. So they picked a good kind of calendar time zone here to put their season in, and I think it makes a lot of sense. I'll probably find myself watching more of the games on TV because, again, the action was very good. I just didn't really love the experience of being there in person as much. But if they fix that, I'd be totally willing to give it another shot. So that's my take on it. Let me know in the comments, what did you think? Have you been to a game there at Cashman Field? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? You know, all comments are welcome. But either way, I appreciate you watching the review. As I mentioned at the beginning, I've got plenty of content, video content from our day at the game, so I'm going to share that with you next. Hope you enjoyed. And again, if you could help me out by hitting that subscribe button, I would totally appreciate it. That's it for now, but I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks for checking this one out. We'll see you there. Bye-bye.
I'm so excited.
Here we go.
So glad to be with you.
Yes, sir. We'll show all the gear here, too.
The wind's knocking the ball up.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh, we got the ball first.
Out of bounds.
What do you think? It's fantastic.
Have a good time?
I don't think you'd ever see a game this close anywhere else. Glad to be here with you. You too. Go, buddy! We don't even have the scoreboard right half the time.
Right.
I could get 4. I think it's second right there. Coach right there. Get him!
So are they going for 1 or 2 or?
There's no board. It's hard to, I don't know. That's a problem.
Oh, I don't think he made it. He's at the 1.
What was he going for? Yeah, so you had to sit down the hallway. I'm not really Let's go, defense!
Oh, nice play. Yeah, it's hard to see.
The wheel at the casino is right there.
They make more money. Yeah. No, it's all good.
Pretty good job, don't you think? You're making 150 a game. I missed my TV spot, damn Oh, Vipers.
Vipers! Vipers!
Dragons!
working against the wind. This is tough. Video, goddamn.